All right, welcome to Bayou Beat Podcast, episode 1.
Number 1.
For that, we
Cheers,
got man. Billy Badass in the house.
Hey, man. Glad I could be the first one, man.
Yeah, hey, man. And you know, it's interesting. I was telling my friend about the podcast, and then he's like, "Oh, who's going to be your guest, your first guest?" And I was like, "Billy, ain't really heard of you." But I was like, "Well, he's like a founding member of Always Guilty, songwriter, lead man." And, you know, I was starting to kind of give him a little bit of your resume. He's like, "Oh, man, you're going to have a good guy." There you go. That's good. And all these other stuff, too, you know. Yeah. So, and, you know, it's great that you were able to make it out here. Yeah. But also, we're going to head out to Austin tomorrow.
Yes.
So we got this show coming up tomorrow.
You ready for that? Flamingo?
It's going to be fun, man.
Played Flamingo before?
I've never played Flamingo.
You're going to have a great time.
Yeah, man. Dude, first time I went to 6th Street, it was years ago. And so a friend of mine, we would play music together. Mm-hmm. So I'll make a quick story, long story short. I was waiting tables, and so there was this recruiter that was kind of like I was talking to, and I had done the test and everything to see if I can get in the military. Uh-huh. I just wanted to see if I could, right? Yeah. And I passed all the stuff, so he found out where I was waiting tables. He come out to where I'm at, you know, trying to talk to me and all this. Yeah. So there was this table next to him, and there was these ladies, and they were drinking wine. They were like middle-aged ladies, and they're drinking, and I'm serving them wine, and then after they left, they go, "We overheard what you're saying over there. You're thinking about going to the military. Don't do that. You're a musician. They're just filling your head with bullshit. My son's a drummer in Austin. Yeah. I'm going to give you his number. I want you to go to Austin. I want you to go visit with him, see what's up, and then if you still want to go to the military, do it. But, you know, at least go check it out. That's where you want to be. You want to be over there." Yeah. And so she gave me the number, whatever, and all that. So my homeboy that I play music with, I told him, "Dude, call him. Let's go." And, I mean, I think we were probably like, I don't know, 19 or 20 at the time. So we called this dude up. You know, I wasn't going to call him. My friends, I called. "Oh, yeah, my mom told me about you. Come on down, dude. You could come crash out at my crib, this and that." And that's what happened. We ended up going down there, and then we ended up going to 6th Street, showing us around. And from then, I was like, "Dude, I want to play 6th Street one day. Like, we have to, you know what I mean?"
Yeah, man. Especially here in Texas. I mean, it's considered the live capital.
Dude, Stevie Ray Vaughan used to play down there and all of that, you know. I mean, just so much history. And
ZZ Top.
Oh, man. I mean, everybody's got, yeah, dude. Yeah. With Austin City Limits and the South by Southwest and all of that, everybody goes to freaking.
Yeah, and it's cool to do Flamingo Cantina. A lot of history there. Like one of the oldest reggae, ska type bars in Texas, you know. Yeah. Everybody's been on that stage. Yeah. Especially the reggae and ska genre.
Right. All those people.
Rocksteady, all that stuff.
Yeah, so that's, man, yeah. So, I mean, I know you've played there many a times. Yeah. Yeah, man, but that's going to be my first time out there, so I'm excited about that, you know.
It's good to be back because I haven't played there since, like, before COVID.
Right. So, back before, yeah.
Now that we got things going again. Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah. And that was kind of part of the story with the Skatastrophics. Is that I remember, like, y'all were playing these shows, and then y'all went to L.A., y'all went to Arizona, New Mexico, or something like that. Yeah. Then y'all recorded a new album, and then y'all were on Monster Garage, and then y'all had an album release party at the Romel Studios. Yeah.
You were there?
I went there, man. Dude, the album was hot because the album came out first, and I got a chance to hear it, and then I was like, "Oh, I got to go support." Nice. Great freaking album, which is some of the music we're playing now. Yeah. And then that happened, and then I guess 1 or 2 weeks later, COVID hits. Yeah. And everything stopped.
We played at Cactus Music to promote that album. You know how they have the in-stores? And then there was a buzz going around, saying, I think,
I was at that
like, yeah, whatever. Right. And then next day, boom, shut down. Right after that, the next day
after the Cactus Music show. Yeah. Dang, yeah. Yeah, I was at that show, man.
Yeah, people were talking about it, be like, nah, for real,
Well, I was down in L.A. In, like, February. And same thing, it was cool. We've, no problems, everything. And then we're headed back. And it was when we started hearing a few things, and actually in the airport. And so the thing is with the airport, that's like one of the places everybody's at. Mm-hmm. So then when we got off the plane, people were started wearing masks and stuff. And so then that's when everybody was like, oh, dang. Not even a month later, everything started shutting down. Yeah. That was it. And hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, and then within that shutdown, I got hurt for a while, hurt my back. Was having trouble walking and all that stuff. Got fixed, good doctors.
Right.
And then that's how we got the band going again. Once I was ready to get going and moving again.
Dude,
doing it, a few months already.
Yeah. So during that shutdown, how long after that was that you got injured?
I always had the problems since high school.
Okay.
But you think, it's something that goes away, you know what I mean? But then it gets to a point where it's unbearable and you can't walk or nothing. It's stenosis. So, it's almost like a suffocation of the spinal cord.
Wow.
So it was getting a little rough. I was getting worried. I was like, man, maybe I won't even be able to play music anymore, or do the things that I was always doing.
Because you were in constant pain?
Yeah, and it was such a weird thing to happen during that time. Everybody's worried about everything. I'm just in bed like, oh my God. But
then you had surgery.
Yeah, the universe was on my side, and here we are jamming again, going to Flamingo. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
So
I remember that because during that time that you were hospitalized.
Yeah.
How long were you in the hospital?
Not that long. I mean, I was in there for a few days after the surgery.
But you were in bed. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like with COVID happening, it was hard to get in the hospital and get fixed. So it was just a long time of just shit hitting the fan, and then I was just stuck in bed. You can't. Yeah. I needed the operation, that day, but I had to wait like 2-3 months just in bed.
2 or 3 months in bed, huh?
Yeah.
But then that's also when you wrote that album.
Yeah, well, the Riptide Phantoms stuff.
Yeah.
The rock and roll album.
Riptide Phantoms.
Yeah.
You got that Riptide Phantoms picture? That's that purple one. Okay, that was really interesting because I remember that period. And then I remember that the album came out, and then listening to it.
Yeah.
And the lyrics. And dude, that you were in this like bad place.
Yeah.
And you were bedridden, but you were still creating, and then you were kind of like channeling all of that stuff into these songs. The lyrics are it's like it brings you back to that place. You know what I mean? You were there, and then you're not there no more. You can't even write that anymore. But at that point. That's where you were at.
I was in a zone, man. I haven't wrote like that in a while either because I just cranked all that out, the months I was just in bed.
That's what it does, man. You're in bed, and you get bored, and there's just so many hours, and then you start going in your head, and then all of a sudden, and that's one of the things that I, like one of my theories, is that boredom is actually a lot of where a lot of creativity comes from.
Yeah.
Whenever you stop everything, then your mind starts to create its own things.
Yeah.
And
another thing is, being bored and stuck by the bed, I couldn't plug in. I have guitars and basses. I play bass for this project, so I couldn't plug in. So one day I just bought me an acoustic bass on Amazon, just so I could keep right by the bed. Just boom. Then that starts strumming. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Let me throw a melody on that. Next, there's one song, there's another, and then before you know it, you got 12, 13 song album.
Damn.
And as soon as I started feeling better, man, I recorded. I was still hurting, like I was in the studio laying down recording this stuff sometimes. And King Benny, shout out to him.
Wow, man. So you wrote the songs with the bass next to your bed?
Yeah, I just had an acoustic bass.
So you wrote the song with the bass, not with an acoustic guitar?
With the acoustic bass.
So you didn't have an acoustic guitar?
I had one, but I was playing the bass more because that's just what I was.
But I'm saying you were writing with the bass.
Writing the songs.
That's interesting, man. Because usually when you think about writing, it's with an acoustic guitar. You're doing the chords, but you were thinking bass lines.
Yeah, but I guess the type of music, it's very strummy, so you can almost kind of play it like a guitar. You know what I'm saying?
You have a song in particular that you could think of right now that kind of exemplifies that, or?
Let me think. There's different ones. The one I wanted to show y'all. Let me think. What would be a good one? I'm a little twisted on it right now.
Man, I remember listening to these lyrics, man. That's such a great album, dude. It's so, there's this theory that, you know, pain is where comedy comes from. You know, it's this mechanism that we have, coping mechanism that we use. So, like a lot of comedies, you're laughing, but you're laughing. Dude, I remember whenever my grandfather passed away, and in Mexico you have like these 2 or 3 day funerals. So they have the casket in my grandma's house, and we're out there for like 2 days, and everybody comes by and everything. And so, man, by like the second or third day, you know, I think everybody was just, and I remember at the time I was really into comedy. I said this one joke, and the laughter was like this release of all this pressure, and then I said another one. And then I'll keep saying, do you know another one? Dude, I was telling jokes for like an hour and a half, and everybody was laughing, but it's like you have all this pressure, and then you release it, and it's the same thing with like music. Yeah. That sometimes that's where the best comes from, you know. Yeah.
Pressure, definitely.
Yeah. Like even like people like some like rappers, like let's just say Eminem's, right? His first album was just all of this stuff that he was going through, and or like blues, all these people, when they're going through it, those are the best albums. After they make it, like they're singing about
like a lot of the early albums of people are always just they feel so personal. You know what I mean?
And they're hungry and they're going through it, and we relate to it. You know, and a lot of times after like they make it or whatever, it's just like, hey, nobody can relate to, you know, your rich people problems or whatever.
My faucet broke in my mansion.
Yeah, right.
That's what I got for you today. I mean, there's still some people who are balling who are very creative too, but for the main part, I see what you mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that album right there, man, it was great how you were going through a situation, and then you like it fueled this creativity. You created a whole new band. All these new songs. Did you remember what song that was that you were thinking?
Well, the project was kind of a mix of almost like a little bit of early 90s alternative rock with a little bit of Ramones and Misfits sprinkled in it too. Okay. The first one that comes to mind every time I think of that project, probably Love I Made Up.
Love I Made Up.
Kind of has
that Phantoms.
That distorted power pop feel to it, you know.
Yeah. I remember that. That, man.
That one's kind of always been a fun one to play.
Yeah. Man, so you're gonna you're getting that whole project going up and running again. Huh?
Yeah, we're jamming. It, you know, I rushed it whenever we initially did it because I had the guys I recorded with. They got busy with other projects, but then I got offered shows, and they said they're pretty good shows just to kind of kick the band off. But I had to teach these other guys to do it, and I didn't get to really gel as much as I wanted to. You know, this time I'm taking our time, we're rehearsing, just kind of like what we're doing with well, not really Scats. We just kind of started playing a little, kind of quick. But we took our time a lot more than what we could have. You know, there's offers out. We're like, let's just chill out. You know?
Right.
Let's get, let's gel. That's so important in the band. Is just gel. You know.
Yeah. And that's why it's interesting too, like that for this particular show in Austin, we all decided to pull together and get like a big Airbnb. Yeah. That's gonna be great because we're gonna all be able to hang out, and that's kind of like what you're talking about, it's part of gelling and everything.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, that's just Austin. That's down the street. It gets even funner when we get really far. Playing Cali or New York or whatever. Yeah. Because you're far from home, and the people is the dudes that you rolled with up there.
Your clique,
we're all going there for a common goal. It's fun, man. Yeah. We definitely got to go.
Oh,
hit the coast,
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to with everybody now, because everybody seems pretty hungry and ready to go.
Down. Yeah. It's called the Love I Made Up.
Yeah, the Riptide Phantoms song.
You got that right there, man? Let's hear a little bit of that, huh? Let's see what that is. Love I Made Up. Borrowed Time, man. That's badass, dude. That's Ro right there.
Yeah, Rogelio, man. My other bandmate from Shanghai.
Well, he's also playing with you on the Riptide Phantoms now.
Yeah, he's been jamming with us.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's always guilty.
As I was playing. Something's playing in the background, huh? Not down. It's called The Love I Made Up, the Riptide Phantoms. Yeah, just type it in there, it'll come up on YouTube. The Love I Made Up. So you got Rogelio playing with you now, and you're gonna
guitars.
You have a show coming up on that?
Not yet. Like I'm saying, right now we're just kind of gelling. Rogelio and JJ, he plays with, a couple of the Shame on Me people.
Okay.
It's just a little, it's more of a side thing, if anything, you know what I mean? Because I had a lot of gigs play a lot with Shame on Me, and then starting to play a lot with Scats again, so.
The Skatastrophics started off as a low side thing.
Yeah,
right?
but then it became, the main thing.
Yeah.
From what I originally started with was, Always Guilty.
That's how it happens sometimes,
Yeah.
That's how it happens sometimes. Same thing. You're in the thing. You start getting bored.
Yeah.
You start looking for, okay, what's this other thing that I could work on?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
And also just like expressing myself in different ways musically, where some of this kind of song wouldn't work with this band, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just kind of do a whole project that
Dude,
cohesive to each other,
the thing that it reminds me of is Bad Brains.
Bad Brains? Which one?
Well, what I'm saying is that Bad Brains started out as a punk band,
Mm-hmm.
and then as they got a little bit older and stuff, they mellowed out, and then they went into a reggae thing.
Well, they do. They still would do the crazy punk. The thing about them is that they throw like a cool dubby reggae song in between all the madness. Yeah, which was ahead of its time. Them and the Clash were a couple of the bands that were mixing the punk and the reggae. Yeah. My introduction to reggae is UB40, man. Yeah, yeah. In the 80s, Red Wine, Right. It was on the radio nonstop,
Right.
And that's and I'd hear it compared to everything else on the radio. I'd be like, that sounds different, I have older siblings, so I'd be like, why does that sound different? There's something different to this, to everything else that we're hearing on the radio, the 80s stuff. Yeah. That little, I'm like, well, why does it? What is it? They told me it's reggae. And then I never forgot that, And I'm talking about a kid. Yeah. And from there, that's how it kind of expanded me to whenever I heard anything was reggae. And I'm like, I got to listen to that. And then eventually you'll watch TV and they'll have a Bob Marley thing, being a kid in the 80s too. Oh, this guy plays reggae? Okay, let me hear this stuff because I like these other guys. Yeah. They're doing this reggae thing. Yeah. Yeah, reggae's, man, it was completely different for me too. Whenever, the first time I heard reggae, so my sister, she was dating this dude, and, I'm Mexican. I grew up with cumbias and norteños and all of that kind of stuff, and rock music. Yeah. When I first heard reggae, I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? And it's one of those things, it's like an acquired taste. Yeah. By the third or fourth time, same thing. I was like, oh, what? I love this or whatever, And, but reggae wasn't really like a thing that was around so much like where we grew up. No. And that's why I latched on like in high school, Sublime. Everybody knows them now, but back when I was in high school, I was like one of the only people who knew about that band in high school. And 311, Yeah. Only a handful of people, especially where we, like I'm saying, suburban Houston. Yeah. Even a handful of people knew about them back then. Now it's so common, once we got out of high school. Yeah. Everybody in the world. Yeah. But, that's something we have in common. Yeah. That we both have older siblings. Uh-huh. Because I remember, so I have an older brother. He's 6 years older than me. Mm-hmm. He bought the Sublime CD. Yeah. Right? And, so whenever I was 12, he was 18. He had a job. And he would use his money to buy CDs. Yeah. And he bought the Sublime CD. He has a tattoo of Sublime on his back. The clown on the actual CD. Yeah, and then a Dalmatian in the back. Yeah. What was it in the back? I guess it was in the paper. Yeah. Probably somewhere. I bought back then. I've had that album, that specific one, the popular one. Right. I probably had like 10 copies of it through scratching it all the time. Yeah. Probably a lot of people too. Yeah. Yeah. Like Bone Thugs. Everybody had a whole bunch of those East 99s. Oh, I got to scratch one. I got to get a new one. Dude, check out this crazy story talking about East 99. My cousin, Bofo, right? Oh, my cousin. So I had a CD of Cypress Hill. So I had an older brother. I also had an older sister. Uh-huh. She had a Cypress Hill album, a Black Sunday. Yeah. And I was like probably 14 at the time or something. Yeah. So my cousin, he comes over one day. Well, one day, anyways, the CD goes missing. I don't know, it just did. But I think like 15 years went by, and one day
He goes, hey, man, you remember that CD? Dude, I just had to have it, man. And then he still had it. The same one, but he held on to it for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was good condition?
Yeah, it was still in good playable. We played it, man. You know what I'm saying? We jammed it and stuff.
That's funny.
Just crazy, yeah. The other one that I went through a bunch of was Bob Marley Legend.
Legend. Oh, dude, I had a few legends.
I had about at least like 8 or 9 of them.
Yeah.
As soon as they get scratched, they got to get another one. You know, but yeah, that was the thing that it was so different to me also, and it wasn't something that was like anywhere in the hood, you know, or where we grew up and stuff. Yeah. So later on, knowing that there's like a scene that enjoys reggae and all.
See, I got put onto it. I was born in Chicago, but I've been in Houston since I was a baby. But I went to Chicago and I have cousins up there who are all musicians, you know, great guitar players, whatever, any instrument. And they used to go to the big love and marriage fountain over there, you know. I don't even know what it's called, you know, for Married with Children.
Okay, yeah.
All their friends, a whole bunch of hippies and stuff, man. They'd be like beating on bongos and stuff. And I remember after that, you know, blazing and everything, on the way home, he popped that in. I'm like, it's bass, you know, it's bass.
Yeah.
You know, we grew up with a lot of hip hop.
Yes.
So I was like, man, this 808, man, this stuff is thumping in here. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that? You know?
Yeah.
I brought it back, you know, here to Texas. I mean, I'm sure people knew about it too, but
that's
how I was exposed to it. And then me liking reggae, like I'm saying, from UB40 when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, he's a new guy who's doing another guy. Because we didn't have internet back then. What you really heard on the radio or what somebody showed you was kind of what you knew about.
That's it.
You know?
There was no reggae station. There was no reggae station on the radio or something that would play it for you.
Maybe randomly the box will play like a fast, quick mix, but it's all like a whole bunch of dance hall and stuff. Yeah. Or every once in a while, the 90.1s or whatnot.
Do you remember when they used to have the Bob Marley Festival here in Houston?
Yeah, but they still have one or no?
Okay, so they originally had the Bob Marley Festival here in Houston. Yeah. They had it for a few years, and then they changed it to the Reggae Festival.
Okay, that was just this past weekend.
Well, then the same people, they went and moved to Austin. Okay. So the Reggae Festival they have in Austin is the original people that were having it here in Houston.
Oh, I remember one I went to where they had the big over there by Allen Park.
Eleanor Tinsley Park.
Yeah, I remember that going to those.
Right, exactly. That and that's how I started out way back. This was like this was probably in the 90s. Yeah. This was like late 90s, 98, 99. And they had the Bob Marley Festival. Yeah. And so, man, we went down there, and it was one of these things where you would bring canned goods, and they'd let you in. Yeah. So easy. We got some canned goods. And I remember that was the first time ever that I sat at a concert, and they were playing music, and people were lighting up freely, and there would be cops sitting right over there, and they wouldn't bother nobody. Yeah. And then the people right over there, hey, you want to hit this? And then, hey, whatever. And then, you see some cute girls, hey, and then, it was just, I was like, whoa, I've always just been paranoid, everything. The cops just leave you alone. It was beautiful, man. Yeah. And that made me fall even more in love with reggae. But then, as a bass player, of course, all the bass grooves, that's all it is. Yeah. And then as a guitar player, it's easy. You just hit the chords. Yeah. So it's beautiful, man.
But with, getting into those bands like 311 and Sublime, it led me to start digging in deeper. And, I found bands like Fishbone, we're playing a lot of the even more ska, which led me to, investigate a little bit more about just straight up ska. And then, I found out about that whole, the UK, the Specials, Madness, the Beat. Yeah. The two-tone.
So how old were you when this happened, when you found out about two-tone and all that?
I guess it was late 90s, early 2000s. Okay. Out there in McKenzie in our old neighborhood.
Yeah. Dang, you were already turned on a two-tone.
Yeah. Adam's back over there.
Yeah.
We were jamming in the garage in McKenzie.
Oh, so he knew about that stuff from back then.
Yeah, with his brothers too, Isaac and Willie. They grew up in a lot of that stuff too. Okay. But I'm the dude who came over with a guitar, and from there, I jammed with his brother who's all into reggae and ska. So I have a guy who likes reggae. Yeah, Isaac. I have a guy down the street who really likes reggae who even wants to jam it with me, and that's how. With Always Guilty, and we added our buddy Lee on the drums, and
wow.
But we were into punk rock too. That was a whole other love right there. Is punk rock. I like, Ramones and Misfits, the basic late 70s classic bands.
Right.
I dip into other, Hop Ivy. They're like ska punk. And I don't know, so many hybrid bands, it's almost hard to classify a lot of the bands I listen to. Maybe that's why I'm in so many different projects.
That makes
sense.
But
I didn't smash it all into one band like kind of a lot of those bands from that era did, actually.
Yeah. I mean, like Sublime, they would just switch up genres right in the middle of a song and stuff.
Yeah, ska, dub, reggae, punk, thrashy stuff. 311,
right?
They play metal, hip hop, funk.
Yeah. I was definitely into 311 also.
Yeah.
But I mean, Sublime though, dude, that was such an anomaly to me because like Sublime is so universally loved. And I'll never forget one time I was at a house party in high school, and there was this one guy, and he was on X, and I had never even seen anybody on X. He was rolling, and he just comes up to me. He goes, "I love Sublime, bro." And I was like, "I feel you, man. I love Sublime too, man. And it's just this deep, but the thing is, I never classified it as ska or reggae. It was just Sublime. They have their sound, and then
they were very good and a great gateway band. Because of them now. I know about Trojan Records in Jamaica, Lee Scratch Perry and Alton Ellis and a lot of these originators that,
They were ambassadors.
Yeah. Here's a good one. We're from Houston, right?
Right.
So Johnny Nash is from Houston.
Okay.
I Can See Clearly, Now the Rain.
Yeah.
He sang that song. But he's the first American artist to record reggae in the United States.
What?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
He has some good stuff.
He imported it.
Yeah. And a guy from the United States playing reggae, and he has some classic joints.
Yeah.
Right here in Houston, dude.
Yeah. You said we need to play one of his songs. Put some sugar on. Something like that.
Pour some sugar on it. Not
the Def Leppard song. That's what.
Pour a little sugar on me.
Yeah. There you go. Pour a little sugar on me. Yeah. So, man, I was wondering that. And then, so how did you even get into playing the guitar in the first place?
Well, my brother would play I'm Mexican, so he played like a lot of rancheras and stuff.
Well, there's a lot of Mexicans that don't play guitar. How did you get into playing an instrument? That's what I'm saying.
Well, he'd play guitar and then he
would play Mexican music with yourself.
Yeah, but it was an instrument. You know what I mean? Yeah, so there was always a guitar to mess around with in my house, or my sister might have had a keyboard, or we had a piano in the living room eventually, a big old piano. I'd have stuff to make noise with,
Yeah.
And back then, like I'm saying, like we're talking about, we didn't have internet and stuff like that to keep us busy. So I never had really formal lessons other than being a band for junior high for a couple of years. I didn't really.
What did you play in junior high?
I started off with trombone, and then I moved to tuba. And somehow now I play the bass sax. So that's what I really wanted to play, but for being a kid, I don't know, for whatever reason, the band teacher said, no, try trombone. I'm like, all right. And now I'm playing sax everywhere. I'm like, man, imagine if I would have started the sax back then. I guess I do okay now, but, I always think about that.
I mean, you're good, man. You're musical. You get it,
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, too, is that since you had music playing in your family, it wasn't like a class or nothing. You're just fooling around and
my cousins from Chicago, the one that told me about jamming and the drum circle.
You would jam with them, too?
I just spectate those dudes, because those dudes,
Well, you grew up around that.
Yeah, well, it opened up a window for me. I was like, It's the first time I seen a band jam. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I remember they were playing like Stone Temple Pilots Plush, no lyrics,
right?
But they were just playing the song. I don't know. They probably played it for like 10 minutes long, like just the instrumental version. I'm just sitting there, damn, I'm like, whoa, like just.
This is possible.
Hypnotized, man. Like, yeah. It's like, man, it's 3 of these dudes and all this noise is coming out of them. I'm like, I want to try that.
How old were you at that time?
I think I was in 5th grade or something like that.
5th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you were really young, and you were already being exposed to all this great stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, when's the first band you started? Was it Always Guilty?
Actually, no, the first band that we messed around with, I wouldn't even call it, well, I guess we literally played like our first gigs across the street right here where we're at.
Oh shit!
This bar used to be called Colucci's.
On 1960.
Yeah, it's right across the street.
Oh shit, Colucci's. It used to be on the corner.
Yeah, we played there and Acadia a few times. Cause from this area.
Yeah, Acadia's right here across the street.
Parents over there on 2920. It was called the Super Sanchos.
Oh man.
So
okay.
yeah. So we just like linked up with my buddy Ben from junior high. He's actually a very talented guy. He sang and played, and I just kind of would diddle around the guitar, and sometimes I switched to bass. And Isaac and Lee would play too, the guys who I made Always Guilty with. So we separated with Ben after a while. He had personal do his stuff or whatever, and then from there, me, Lee, and Isaac said, "Well, let's keep on jamming, see what happens."
Yeah. And
then from there, Always Guilty came out, and I was actually the guitar player when we started.
Okay.
But then we got Nico later on, little kid prodigy. He was way younger than us. He just became the predominant guitar player because we're like, we need like the frontman thing going on because the music's, it's a heavier ska. It's ska punk, almost ska core on sometimes.
Always Guilty.
Always Guilty, yeah.
So that was that video that you were talking about that you sent earlier.
Don't say Always Guilty.
Yeah, that Always Guilty.
I think we sent it from a ska fest at Fitzgerald. That Adam over there, he actually threw it.
There you go. He threw a ska fest.
I don't know if the sounds.
Oh, at Fitzgerald's.
You can see how crazy it was at Fitzgerald.
What year is this?
This is 06 maybe. At Fitzgerald's downstairs. This is like a ska fest that Adam had the concept of it, and we all got together and did it.
Hell yeah. I turn it up a little bit, let's see.
It's a little rough, because, it's 2000, whatever. 2006 Rico, yeah. We're still teenagers. We're all in our mid-20s. It's kind of funny because Diego now. From time to time we still do it.
Up, man. That's awesome, bro. Hell yeah.
Good old Fitzgerald, man.
I miss that place, man. Dude, it's a travesty that they got rid of it, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Those are good days. Those are some fun days, man.
You know what killed
days? We had a lot of fun. Doing Fitzgerald's, the White Swan.
You know what killed Fitzgerald's?
The COVID did, really?
It was right during that time.
I don't know. I thought they just wanted to sell it too, or no?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You know what?
I'm 100%.
You know what? I'm probably wrong. I think it might have been earlier than that. Actually, that I think about it.
I can't remember no more. But that was a place to go for
Yeah.
For music like that. But you can't forget about the White Swan and
yeah.
And I know even before I started playing, like, 'cause remember I told you I was starting off in this area. I didn't start doing downtown gigs till probably that time 05, 06, 04.
But you started in the 90s.
No, our first gigs was like in the 01.
Okay.
Yeah.
01. All right, I got you.
Yeah, we really started getting out there. I was always writing, messing around with music,
Yeah. Yeah. But then you got a band together, hit up Acadia, hit up these parts up there.
Yeah, because this is all we knew, you know what I mean?
Dude, Acadia is so badass, man. It's like literally across the street.
Yeah.
And, see, all right, so we grew up in the same place. I went to Eisenhower.
Yeah. I went to Cloud Forest, but we grew up in the same neighborhood.
We grew up in the same neighborhood.
We didn't find that out till 20 whatever years later.
We didn't find that out until we're playing the show together. And you're in one band and I'm in another band. And we're all just hanging out. My brother comes and then Adam's like, Gabriel! And I was like, and then all of a sudden it turns out.
They were in Northwest Park. And I started looking at you. I was like, man, I think I reckon you look familiar. I think I remember seeing you walking around the hood back in the day,
Dude, that is so crazy how you remember that because we were not even like in the same class. We were in 2 different grades.
I'm almost thinking maybe just playing hooping in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Something, bro.
Because I went to to Klein for most of the time, but I still lived in Northwest Park. So when you were living in back in the day, what did we do? Ride bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
All over the neighborhood.
Yeah, makes sense, man. It was just
run into all
ago.
the dudes your age,
Yeah, but when you said that, I went into my memory and an image came up of you when you were a little kid, and I was like, oh, I did know this guy. It was so weird, like how that happens, because you were like, I was like, and you're like, David, remember? And I was like, I started thinking, I was like, oh yeah, and I remembered, and then it turns out we went to the same elementary school together. Yeah. We lived in the same neighborhood, and then 20 years later, we're playing a gig, and you're in one band, and I'm in another band. Yeah. And dude, that blew my mind.
Now we're jamming.
Yeah. And that's what's so crazy too is that like we met each other, but then we already knew each other, but we just didn't know it.
Yeah. Well, because we grew up around the same environment, so like we're the same exact grade, same age and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just dude. All right, let me tell you another crazy story similar to that. So one time, this was like 10 years ago, I went to Austin and San Antonio with Los Carnales. Yeah. And so, I came back and then I was hanging out with my parents, and my parents are like, oh, what's up with this band that you went, whatever. It's like, oh, Los Carnales. And then, who's that, whatever. And then I said, oh, Felipe Galvan. And when I said that, Mom goes, oh, we know them.
Oh, man.
Turns out, his family lived in Reynosa, my family lived in Reynosa. Yeah. And then his dad was in the Johnny Jets. My dad actually has a Johnny Jets vinyl that he had bought in Reynosa. But then when they moved to Houston, they both moved into Spring Branch. They were neighbors.
Oh, wow.
And then, and so, like, I said that, and then, like, it clicked or whatever. And I was like, dude, what are the freaking chances? Hey, like, we went to elementary school together. My parents and their family knew each other in Mexico and here. Yeah. Like, there's how many millions of people in Houston?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and then Felipe, speaking of him, man, grew up going to those guys' shows, them and the Suspects and Secret Agent 8. I remember that little time in Houston when those were like the ska bands. Before I would even play, I was like, man, I'd see the big bands with the horns. It looks like fun, man.
Yeah, man.
Here we are.
That's it. No, and it's the same thing with me. I mean, I've been a fan of Skatastrophics for a long time. Yeah. And, I've known Daniel for freaking 12, 13 years or whatever, a long time. And been to a bunch of y'all shows and all of that. And I was like, oh, man, one day, I might get that chance to play with them if they need a bass player and stuff. Yeah. And then,
hey, man. Here we are, man. It worked out.
And and we're gonna go tomorrow. We can play Austin. So we got another show at the Last Concert Cafe next week.
Yes, with Piñata Protest.
Piñata Protest
from San Antonio, and then the Mad Caddies. OG
Caddies.
90s, ska band.
Yeah, man, dude.
Reggae.
Yeah, they're on tour. They're going all over Europe and Germany and all kind of stuff. So. Yeah. So that's going to be a really good show too. Yeah. So, man. But then the Shame on Me. That's the other.
Yeah, I know that's the other project. Well, that they're just with them is I've known them through the scene, just through the years before. Melaine, the singer, she's playing 13 Black Coffins. So we'd mix it up and play with Always Guilty and 13 Black Coffins and all that. But this is before I even played the saxophone. But when I picked up the sax, started playing with Skatastrophics, the sax, I guess she saw that, and one day, a wild card, she like hit me up and said, hey, what's up? You think you'd be down to jam some sax with us or whatever? And, in our set, the Skatastrophics set, I only play the sax a quarter, sometimes a half of the time, just depends on the set. So it gave me an opportunity to play sax the whole time, just focus on my sax playing a project to get my chops down. And not only that, the songwriting's really good. And, Melaine, and Jules, they're the girls there's girl singers, rockabilly, doo-woppy, rock and roll stuff, and they sing awesome, write great songs, with Ro and Pat Kelly, also great musicians. So.
And Ro's also a really great artist too.
Oh yeah, with the designing shirts,
all
and
that stuff,
painting, and man, talented people. It's cool because and that's how you meet other people like that too.
Yeah.
So
you attract people that are in the same sort of creative vibe.
Yeah.
And then you end up collaborating in different ways, and then coming together in different ways, and and that's one of the things that I think is so interesting about like different scenes. Like for example, the hip hop scene. Mm-hmm. When you think hip hop, there's the music, but then there's also like breakdancing.
Yeah.
And then there's also the fashion.
Yeah.
And
I took my stab in the breakdancing in the late '90s. You remember when everybody was doing it again? It like kind of had that resurgence. Yeah. From the '80s. I'm sure it was mid '90s, maybe even too. The quinceañeras.
At Eisenhower.
That was terrible.
In Eisenhower, there was this one hallway the long hallway, but where the cafeteria is, and there'd be a little patio out there that had a slab of concrete. Yeah. And so they would put down some cardboard, and on lunch they'd go out there and break dance.
Yeah, they used to do the same thing at Climb Forest. Yeah. It just had like a big breakdancing boost in the mid to late '90s, man.
Yeah, all that house music and stuff started coming in. Yeah. All the rave stuff started coming in, and there was a lot of that.
The big pant, the big Jinkos.
The Jinkos.
Yeah, I have me a few pair of Jinkos.
Man, pull up that picture of a Billy in the Jinkos. Yeah, man. The freaking '90s, man. That was
It was fun, man. And, so much cool music too with the golden age of hip hop and the grunge stuff. I love all that stuff. A lot of times people see you play, know you for being in the ska and the reggae band, but well, I guess being a Riptide now, you say I love rock and roll too, Yeah. 56. I mean, every decade has something so good, man.
I love so much music, man. When it comes to even, it just really depends on my mood, man. I'll listen to some jazz sometimes. I'll listen to classical music sometimes. I love some Bach or, all that. And then, but also, like we're talking about some Beach Boy stuff or some hip hop. It just depends on.
Beach Boys fiend, man.
Yeah,
that's why I keep on trying to get the guys to harmonize so much in the band, man.
Yeah.
So, man, I gotta send. I told you I'm gonna give you a playlist of the Beach Boys so y'all could just hear like some of these songs I listen to with these.
Y'all got it, man. Between you, Daniel, and Zach. Yeah. Y'all got it. And some of the rehearsals, y'all nail it. You know, and. That's really that other level when it comes to the harmonies is you got the one voice, the two, but when you get that third voice, man, and so definitely.
It's fun. We're still trying to tighten the screws on the harmonies, but we'll get there. Yeah. Especially you bringing it up like in practice and stuff, saying, hey man, that sounds dope. It gives everybody confidence to. Yeah. All right, maybe one of our mates is watching us do it and he thinks it's pretty cool. Let's try it out. Let's do it. Let's
put a little bit more effort. Harmonies, man. One of the reasons I love harmonies so much is because you have a band like Crosby, Stills and Nash. Yeah. And it's just three guys, one guitar, and it's just like something that changes the world. Yeah. And it's that whole thing where, you could climb Mount Everest with a helicopter. Yeah. You could be in the studio with all your gadgets and all your auto-tune. But, man, do that with an acoustic guitar. That's like where the real artistship comes in. And that's what I love about harmonies is that it's your vocals. They're acoustic. It's just your voice. And you just, and then when you do that on top of the music and all of that as well. So, yeah.
No, it's fun. It's an aspect that I love. All my favorite bands usually do them. Like, everybody loves the Beatles and awesome harmonies. I'm looking at them right there in the poster.
Yeah.
There was the Beach Boys and Eagles. I remember them dudes had some cool harmonies.
So what time are we going to head out to Austin tomorrow, man?
I'm thinking 12. Are you going to go swimming at Barton Springs?
Yeah, man. I'm going to ride up there with Zach. He's going to come out there early.
Our guitar player.
Zach.
Very talented dude.
Very talented, man. That guy's really good. Really good.
It's fun to practice with him, huh?
Dude,
he'll sit there and he'll be like, man, I'm getting a show right now.
Well, yeah. He won't put the guitar down. He's just like, fiddling with it while we're talking and all that.
Yeah, it's just so fluid to him.
Dude, he's tripped me out a few times because we'll be sitting around and then somebody will just name a song out of nowhere.
He knows them all. He's a jukebox.
I don't know, the other day, for some reason, like the Spice Girls came up, and all of a sudden he's playing freaking, and then just the randomest songs, and then he'll just start playing it. Yeah. And, he's so freaking good, man,
No, it's fun. This lineup right now, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun. You and Tucker, our drummer.
Yeah.
Who was it? Mauricio.
Mauricio's a character, man. I'm going to have to get him in here one day, man.
Oh, man. Mauricio.
I was thinking about to invite him today, but I was like, that's just too much energy to contain in one space. But, yeah, man. But he has a real passion, and
man.
And he has a great story to tell, too, man.
Yeah. He's a guitar player for one of the biggest Latin ska bands, running around right now. Hesivo, he was original.
Original member, man. Yeah.
Somehow he just managed to run in our path over here in Houston.
How did you freaking meet Mauricio, man? I was wondering that.
His brother was dating our drummer Lee from Always Guilty's sister, I believe. and I guess he found out that his sister's brother was playing in a ska band. Yeah. So what are the odds of that? So he came to my place, and then he started showing me chords, and that's another thing he's really good at, man, is those chord progressions. He'll make some ska chord progressions. They have a cool vibe to them. He's really good at putting them together.
Dude,
so that's how I met him.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that. He has a really good ear for arranging.
Yeah. And then he left for a while. We wrote some songs, and he went and played in Austin with this band called The Inverters.
Inverters, yeah.
And then I was transitioning from Always Guilty to Skatastrophics. Because what happened in Always Guilty, we're writing a lot of heavier, fast ska punk stuff. But every once in a while, I'll sprinkle like a traditional reggae song or rock steady song. And they were starting to become a little bit more prominent. And I was like, I don't want Always Guilty to turn into that, but I like writing the old school stuff. And then I switched it, but we started Skatastrophics,
Yeah.
Just to cater to more of the two-tone and the more chill, rock steady, and
dude, reggae. And I love that stuff, dude. That's my shit, man. When it comes to like rock steady, reggae, that dub, all of that, that chill, you know. But then also, what I love about Skatastrophics is that it's that with punk. Mm-hmm. The punk element comes in there all of a sudden, that high energy.
We definitely give it we're playing some smooth songs, but then we'll speed it up. But we got to have that attitude still, because, I grew up in the punk rock scene, like we're talking about Felipe.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of punk bands that I used to watch here, like The Hates, LDV, and...
Yeah. It's just about that do-it-yourself attitude, where it's like, screw the system, we're going to go out there, we're going to do our thing, and just freaking rock it out.
Yeah, and when you get up on that stage, even how small or big the crowd is, you're about to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Great freaking energy, man.
Yeah. I turn into a different person. For most of the time here, I'm chilling. I'm pretty mellow, but when I get on stage, something hits me, man. Something. Yeah. Yeah. I zone out. Like I was like, it's go time or something.
Well, usually whenever we played, I've seen you back in the day whenever I'd come watch your shows.
Yeah.
And then, but the other day when we were at LaGrange and I seen you with them Roots and you were doing your thing and everything, and I was like, it was cool to be in the audience and see if I'm over here again. And then it's like, yeah, man, and you've honed your craft. You've been doing it for these years. And so it's one of those things that everything from your presence, how you react with the audience, your voice, most of the time whenever you sing, I hear it, but I'm mostly paying attention here to what I'm doing. Yeah. But then being able to not think about that and just listen to it and outside of the recordings, it's great, and also working with all these different projects. You sharpen, you get better with each one. You learn something different. It all adds to your craft, and so you're constantly even getting better. And evolving and stuff, and then also all the time that you put into it, it's allowed you to attract these different people, like Mauricio, like Nico, like Zach, all of these people that are really talented. So it's like this whirlwind that happens.
And it's fun, and it's something that just came out of nothing. You know what I mean? At least, we're here in Houston and we're having fun with it. We're the friends who meet up and who like what we're doing. And it's cool. It's a cool feeling.
Right.
It's a cool feeling people come and support you. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, well, okay, so I grew up right there too, but I went to Eisenhower. I graduated in 2000. And right around that time, hip-hop was like everything, that's when Swisha House was coming out.
I was that Bone Thugs and Harmony fiend, dude. Like we were talking about it earlier, man.
Yeah.
Of course, Pac and
Right.
All the local stuff. Yeah, Swisher House.
Well, see, like that was like
Eisenhower too.
Right. Yeah,
I remember him in Eisenhower the semester I went.
But the thing is that because of that, there wasn't like really a rock scene. There wasn't a reggae scene. There wasn't.
It was just so
hip hop oriented. Everything was hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, the whole culture, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and so the thing is that, but I love playing the guitar. I like listening to this kind of music. So you know, I hang out with my brother, my friends, and we play, you know, guitars and stuff like that. But there wasn't really like a live music scene per se.
You had to really look for it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We'd look for anything that sounded like reggae, even something that just sounded like reggae, and we showed up, and it's nothing like reggae. Yeah.
But you're looking.
We'd be on the Houston Press, you know.
Right.
I think that sounds like a reggae band. Let's go check it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then eventually you got us to start our own thing. And, you know, maybe one day people look back and discover, oh, shit, this was going on in Houston, too, in its own little corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, man, that's
because those shows would go off, man. I mean, dude. Now they mosh pit and rap concerts. You know, back in the day.
Man, I'll never forget. There was this one show I went to. It was always Guilty, and it was at the Ghetto Blaster. Do you remember the Ghetto Blaster?
The name sounds so familiar.
Okay, so it was
it
the U of H
house?
It was over by U of H.
I know it. It's been so long.
And at the Robertson, whenever the Dynamo would play there, and in that neighborhood right there, there was a house.
Okay.
And they called it the Ghetto Blaster. So it was a house party.
Okay.
And so I come over there after the game, and the band starts playing. Always Guilty. Starts playing, gets about halfway through a song, and a fight breaks out right there.
Oh,
and
few of those happens.
Yeah. Oh, the band keeps playing, but then the fight starts getting out of control, and the band stops. And it's like, hey, get it together, and whatever. And they break them up or whatever, and then okay, everything chills out. Yeah. Start the song over again. Yeah. Get about another quarter of the song through, and then another fight breaks out. Dude, I saw that show get interrupted like maybe 5 or 6 times.
Oh man!
You know,
it's crazy because it's happened a few times. You know.
Yeah, you're like.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you know Houston, we have our scene. You know, it's a hit or miss. You know, sometimes we play shows like that are just insane and crazy. Sometimes you know just a few people. But man, I remember going to California. Just they have this ska scene out there. It's huge, man, and it's all Chicanos, you know. And we go, we have a few gigs. You know, this is with Always Guilty. You know, a couple at the venues, and then there's just one backyard show. We're like, oh, I guess we're playing a backyard. You know what I mean? Shit, we get to this backyard, dude, and there's like 300 kids in this backyard.
No shit.
All dressed in black, all into like ska core and ska punk. I mean,
hey, what's up? Mosh pit, huh? Just 300 people?
3 mosh pits, you know?
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Like, and I never would even think that, you know, that's not even a concept over here.
LA's just so huge, man.
Yeah, you can't even count the Chicano ska bands on your hand from over there.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
But I was like, whoa, man, like, you know, there's a pit right here, there's a pit in that corner, and then there's another pit over there. And then we're kind of a little high in this backyard, in this high little platform. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. They ain't messing around. Yeah. It's almost as popular as, you know, the screw stuff over here. You know what I mean? They have a huge underground scene out there.
Over there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping, hopefully, one day Houston could have that too. You know what I mean? More kids picking up instruments and jamming and.
Well, there's a pretty big punk scene going on, man.
Yeah, man.
Joey with the compound in the end is really giving a home to a lot of that underground stuff.
Yeah.
And those places get packed, and a lot of bands are playing. And
but I'm specifically talking like a big ska punk scene, because that's what they have over there. I mean, they have a lot of punk. Granted, LA is punk.
Yeah.
Legendary punk bands, Germs.
Yeah.
But they have it's just so random. It's like an insane Chicano ska punk scene out there.
Man, but one thing that I wanted to add to that, what I was saying earlier, was that there would be these fights, but it wasn't nothing personal. You know, it was just people.
In the pit.
Yeah. Dude, I remember, so one time, you remember Walters, right?
Yeah.
So we went to a show, and it was a skinhead, show at Walters. Yeah. And we're standing there, their band's playing, a fight breaks out like 2 feet away from me. They start fighting, nobody moves. Nobody backs up, nothing. They're fighting. And then I think the song ends or something. And, you know, they get tired, they get up. They go to the bar, get beers. He's over there. And then another fight breaks out. But it's nothing like personal. They're just like... Yeah.
A lot of times, I guess at those punk shows, they get over it pretty quick, you know?
Yeah.
There's no grudges or anything. Oh, my bad, let's get a fucking beer and get over it.
Yeah, you know, and that's kind of the point that I wanted to make, you know, is that that's kind of like, it's not, they're fighting now, it's going to escalate and turn into some shit. Yeah. You know, it's just like a super aggressive mosh pit to where it just ends up in a fight. And then... Yeah. You know, dude, one of my friends, dude, that I grew up with from a long time ago, man, that was one of the things. Andy right there, man. That was my homeboy from back in the day. One time.
Northwest Park.
Yeah, Northwest Park.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us from randomly, you know.
Ain't that crazy, man?
Together somehow from Northwest Park in here.
Dude, things lined up, man. You know, that's that synchronicity stuff, man. Yeah, just all lined up.
Synchronicity is real, man.
So we were at this house party, or we were at his house partying or something, and we were going to go somewhere else. And so we were cutting across the field. And he's a friend of my brother's. I hadn't really met him. And so we were drinking at this one party, and so we were walking through this field to the other party. We're drunk. And I didn't really, met him or something. And I don't know why I was just drunk. I said, you know what? I don't like you. That's what I told him. He said, what? I said, I don't like you. He said, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, fuck, you want to fight or what? Well, fuck it, let's go. Dude, we started fighting this shit, man. We're, swinging. He caught me once. I caught him once. And my brother's like, all right, yeah, I'll fucking chill the fuck out, you know. And we became friends and shit, you know. After that.
That's happened to me a few times too, man. I've gotten into some real bumping head confrontations, and I'm friends with them now. You know what I mean?
That's what happens.
I can think of a few cats on the top of my head. You know
but that's what it is. You know, it's a fight, but it doesn't freaking escalate. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just you get whatever the fuck you have off your chest, and then you build respect for each other, and you move on with your life. You know?
Exactly. And that's the way to do it. You know what I mean?
You know, that's how, you know, that's how it is whenever you have, common sense. You don't take things all personal and whatever. You know, it's dude, you know, fuck, I got hit, you got hit, and we're good. Let's move on.
Hey, I got to say, you're a good interviewer, Dave.
Oh, man, shit, I appreciate it. The first episode, you know what, man, let's take a shot to that. But appreciate you being my first guest. Episode 1, the Bayou Beat podcast.
Yeah.
You know.
Salute. Maybe we can put footage from the show for tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Bring some pictures and stuff.
Whew. Uh-oh. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Wake up.
Whew. Yeah, man. That's it. Episode 1, man. Yeah, Zach's going to scoop me up in the morning. We're going to go out to Barton Springs, hang out.
I wish I could go there early, but I take Mauricio.
Yeah. Actually, I just got the day off, and it's cool, you know. We'll be out there, and then we'll meet up. I also want to kind of network a little bit with these Austin bands, Los Curados, and
well, then we're playing with Out of Control Army from Mexico City. These dudes, they're doing some stuff.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, they're going everywhere, too.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. And, you know, part of the idea of the podcast is to have these conversations, get to know a little bit. You know, you post a flyer, and it's like, okay, you know. Yeah. But even with the podcast, you know, get a little bit more in depth about stuff, and then also maybe some clips, and then
we live in an age of content, you know.
Yeah.
So if you don't have content, then you know.
Right. Yeah.
You almost have nothing.
Yeah.
Other than, you know, the show. I mean, of course, a live show and performing, people are going to remember that. But everybody's.
Well, see, then that's the thing.
Wanting content.
You know, they can always go out and catch one of the shows. Yeah. So we're going to be tomorrow at 6th Street. The 19th of August.
Flamingo, and then we got
Flamingo.
It's the 26th.
The Last Concert Cafe. Dude, that venue is badass because it's sort of outdoors and it's like an old hippie spot.
Yeah.
So whatever you could blaze up, you know, it's awesome place, man.
I actually played there this past weekend with Shame on Me. Well, I didn't really get to play because you know the story. Because I dropped my saxophone.
Oh, man, you stumble and fall.
I stumbled and fucking flew, dude. I bent all the knickknacks and gears and all the thing that's on there. So I had to take it to get repaired.
You got to put it like on a thing with the stand now, to where it doesn't like just I don't know.
Yeah, it was on the stand. It was on the stand.
But I'm saying like put a harness or something that holds it.
Just put a whole rubber thing on it.
Yeah, no.
Nah, but
shit happens.
I thought it was gonna be ready today, but it wasn't. But luckily, Chewy from Skatastrophics,
bunch of
everything
bands,
else.
Suspects.
Yeah, Suspects. He let me borrow his berries. So big ups to Chewy. Thank you, Chewy.
Yeah. So he's a man.
Talented cat,
talented
too,
dude. Really.
He jammed with us a couple times. Filmed whenever we were getting it going. He jammed on our 10th year
anniversary.
Skatastrophics.
That was a great show, man.
That was fun, right?
That was a lot of fun, man. Yeah.
Actually, my other buddy Dave has a whole bunch of clips of that one.
Yeah.
Good recordings. I need to get it from him. Now that I'm thinking about it.
There you go. Yeah, we'll post it. We'll post it on the social media.
Yeah.
So you got all of these different. So people want to look up the Skatastrophics are on Spotify.
Yeah.
There's 2-3 albums or whatever on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So you just look up the Skatastrophics. You can put the logo up there so that they can see the spelling of it. There's the Skatastrophics. So they're on Spotify. There's also
all of the streaming networks, basically.
all of them.
Yeah. Always Guilty. We got another.
Always Guilty.
We got kind of like a compilation on Spotify.
Okay.
It's from 2006 to 2011.
Yeah.
Because we only released one, I guess you could call it album with them, but with that project. But it was a lot of 4 or 5 songs. We'll drop them. 4 or 5 songs. We dropped them. We did it 3 or 4 times, and then we recorded a full album.
Yeah, like a compilation of all the stuff over the years.
Yeah. So it's 06 to 2011.
Remember that first one, the very first picture. But yeah, and then they're also on YouTube, huh? I can't see it, but
it's the
that's fine.
black and white, straight up black and white one.
Yeah, that one.
There
you go.
26 to 2011. We called it Failure to Appear because, we haven't really been playing much anymore.
Dude, that's...
Kind of makes sense, though.
That's such a punk band. Always Guilty. Adam, you came up with that name, huh?
Adam did, yeah.
Yeah, Always Guilty. Dude, you know what? That's such a punk name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Adam, H-Town, he do a lot of our show, a lot of the Scott.
I'm about to get him on the podcast one day, sit down and pick his brain.
Stories.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam's got some stories,
his
man.
brother, Isaac, he's doing
too,
big
man.
things, too. He's
DJ Simmer Down.
Yeah, he's doing the Chicano Boulevard thing.
Chicano Boulevard, man. They're holding it down for H-Town.
Yeah, man, they've been active, man.
Dude, we went to Bad Astronaut Brewing. They have a Chicano Boulevard beer.
Yeah.
At the Bad Astronaut Brewing.
That's cool.
You
Man, we
know,
played there. It was a warm one, but it was fun.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
We got to do it again, though. They had some pretty good beer.
They have some good beer. It's a good spot. When it cools down, it's going to be, dude. Hey, when it cools down, we got to hit a bunch of shows.
We're getting busy, dude.
Yeah.
We're getting busy, and we're not looking for shows right now.
Yeah. It's the fall and the spring, that's when everything gets
That, and then, we got new horn players, and we're tightening them up with the sound. And once we all gelled together, we're going to have some fun. I already know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. We're on
It's really coming together, dude.
We're on the cusp of it right now.
Yeah, man. That last rehearsal we had, it was so tight. I feel good about the show tomorrow.
And I jammed with the horn players the other day.
Oh, you did? How did that go?
It was good, man. Yeah. We got Diego, new horn player, youngster, very talented, and then our homie Jason from what's the
Sawyer Ice House.
Sawyer Ice House. He runs that joint, so go get a drink from Jason.
Go get a drink from Sawyer Ice House. Ask for Jason.
And then Danny Boy. Danny Boy is the only one left from the original lineup of us.
Yeah.
Like from when the Skatastrophics started.
He's
Zach came in a few years later, but Daniel's the last one from.
That was when there was Nico and David,
Nico, Carnal, Alex, Jacob, Joey, the N Compound. Yeah, that was the OG lineup. But it just life happens and different projects happen, and everybody's still cool.
Dude, that's badass stuff, man. Yeah. Everybody goes off and does their things, and then sometimes they come back and intermingle, and it's just, it's awesome.
There's been all kinds of iterations of this project because it's a ska band. There's a lot of us, so it just fluctuates. It's not like a 4-piece or 3-piece band where it's just like, okay, those are dudes who are in it, you know.
Yeah.
But I like the energy that we have right now. You know.
Well, look, the way I look at it is
y'all are hungry. The way that makes me more hungry.
The way I look at it is like this: the only reason why the Skatastrophics exist the way they do right now is because of COVID. You know, because y'all had the album going, everything was happening. COVID happened, and then there's no shows, and so
we were working on a full tour, man, in the whole country.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Y'all had all this momentum that y'all were building. Y'all got the album. The album is hot. Y'all get out there. I mean, y'all are on cable TV with Jesse James, and then things are happening, and then COVID hits. The world stops. There's no shows, and then everybody goes off and starts doing their own little side projects.
Yeah. You know? I hurt myself too.
And you hurt yourself.
That was like the biggest, you know, because if I'm not there, then I'm the singer.
Right, but like the whole band, you know, everybody. Jacob went off and did his thing. Nico went off and did his thing. Everybody went off and did their thing. And then then things started opening up again. And you're like, hey, you know what? Let's get this thing back together again. And then some of the original people.
You know who pumped me up? Mauricio.
No shit.
We had a talk one night, you know, just texting on the internet. Hey, what's up? How you been? Because he moved back to Houston.
Okay.
You know, and it was right when everything was opening up again. You know, we just were chatting. And, you know, he's good at pumping me up. Dude. He makes me feel good about myself. He's like, man, you need to play your music, bro.
Bro, you know,
like, when we guys, man.
you know who pumped me up to do this podcast? Guess.
Mauricio,
bro. The thing is, I had already talked about it with my brother. We were already kind of putting the studio together for his podcast and all of this. And then we're at a rehearsal, and Mauricio's like, we need to do a podcast. This flyer shit, they've been doing this since the 70s and the 80s. That shit's played out. Nobody cares about flyers no more. You post your flyer on Facebook, nobody cares. We need a freaking podcast. And then I was thinking like, oh shit, okay, you know, and whatever. And then talking to Mauricio and everything, but then it makes sense, you know. It's like, you know, usually you want to promote a show. What do? You put a flyer out. People look at it. It doesn't mean anything. You know, you're in the age now where it's like, you know, we could sit down and chop it up. I mean, we would have this conversation anyways. Yeah. At the studio.
It's like after practice right now.
That's it. Yeah, we smoke a cigarette, have a couple beers after practice. We chop it up, and then that's it. But then the only thing is that, you know, we create it into a podcast. And but the thing is that, and look, I'm gonna be honest with you now that we're on the subject. Even after Mauricio told me that and it made sense to me, I'm like, I'm so busy. I mean, I'm with the Skatastrophics. I'm playing with Sinapuros. Yeah. And then, you know, I have a son. I have my girlfriend, and then, you know,
brand new one coming.
Yeah, all this stuff.
Congratulations.
You know, baby on the way. I got a full-time job where I'm actually working like 60 plus hours a week. Yeah. Super busy. I'm like, the last thing I need is a freaking podcast. And I was actually kind of like moving away from it, like. Yeah.
And here you are, sitting here with this guy.
Well, the thing about it, man, is that every time I brought it up to you, to Mauricio, to anybody,
I thought you'd be good at it because, you know, you're good at conversation. You know what I mean?
Dude, I watch so many podcasts, and I have for like years. Yeah. You know, I've just, you know, I love learning, and I follow so many different types of podcasts and everything, and so. You know, but it never really crossed my mind to really just make one. Yeah. But the thing about it is that it does make sense to me because there is like a niche of music here, of things that we're doing and like things that
there's almost like a little culture that we have going on here.
That's right.
Because you know our ska doesn't sound like everybody else's ska either. You know what I mean? It's the elements that we picked up here. You know.
So here's my whole theory on that. Like Los Fabulosos Cadillacs. I love Los Fabulosos Cadillacs. I love listening to Fabulosos Cadillacs, but when I listen to them, I'm listening to Argentina. Mm-hmm. I love the Beatles. When I listen to the Beatles, I'm listening to Liverpool. Yeah. I love Bob Marley. Mm-hmm. When I'm listening to Bob Marley, I'm listening to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. But the people from Jamaica want to hear music from other places. Mm-hmm. The people, you know, from Argentina want to hear other places. Yeah. All we got to do is represent.
Yeah.
You know, say do our thing. And then that's the thing.
Tell our story with those kind of rhythms.
Yeah, man, I'll never forget. My brother, he was telling me he went to Liverpool, and then he was at some bar, and then he was talking to somebody. And hey, come here, say that again. Hey, he's like, hey, what do you? Is Texas? Look, he has a Texas accent, and he was like a novelty over there. Yeah. And everything he said, they were like, "Oh my God, he sounds Texas."
Yeah, that happens when we go play out of town. Yeah, they notice. They know. I don't notice, but they notice. You know what I mean? We don't catch a few different things. What we say.
We all grew up in Northwest Park.
And it's a whole different. We're different. It's a definitely different little vibe. You know what I mean?
Right. And so all we got to do is do our vibe, do our thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And you know what? To people around here, it's just like our accent. To them, it doesn't mean nothing. Yeah. But then to other people from somewhere else, they're like, oh, that's what Houston.
And it's great hearing what other people sound like.
Yes, exactly, man. And that's the thing. We love listening to stuff from other places.
Their own little words, their little slangs,
Even this podcast right here, right now, there's probably somebody, there'll be somebody somewhere else that's like, why are they talking like that? What is up with this accent?
Those guys grew up in Northwest Park.
Yeah, right. Those guys must have went to Eisenhower. Yeah, man. So tomorrow, August 19th, we're going to be at Austin next week at Last Concert Cafe. Mm-hmm. Guest number 1, Billy Badass right here in the house, man. Yeah, man.
Keep it going, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. You know what? That was another thing, too, that got me going. We were at a practice, and I told you, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of doing this podcast thing. And you know what you told me? Do you remember what you told me?
What did I tell you?
You said, just do it.
Oh, yeah? Well,
just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like.
Simple as that.
That's it. And
that's why we're playing all these songs.
Just fucking do it.
We just do it.
Just fucking get it done. Yeah. Like right now.
We don't have to, but we want to, and just do it.
That's it. And just like today, man.
Hey, Nike, we're not copying.
Nah. Yeah. But I mean, like.
Nike lawsuit tomorrow.
but that's the truth, man. Like, talk is cheap. Yeah. You can talk about it all day, and that's the thing. That's why we had to come and do it today. Yeah. Because if I would have put this off for another day, who knows if it's ever going to get done. Yeah. But you know what? Fucking.
I'm glad we did it. I was scrambling earlier, and then, I know you've been talking about it quite a bit. I was trying to get the sack situations settled. You want me to send stuff? I'm like, oh, fuck, I've been driving. But I was like, you know what?
And you're always so busy. I didn't know if you were going to be able to make it, to be honest.
No, I'm like, no. I was like, I got to make it. I'm going to be a little late, but I made it.
That's what's up, man.
We did it.
Episode 1.
And you got to keep it going.
And, hey, I'm going to keep it going. Yeah. That's the thing. Okay, so right now.
We know so many cool people over here that you need to talk to.
Right. And see, like right now, we got this show tomorrow in Austin, August 19th. Yeah. We're going to try to release this either tonight or tomorrow morning. Yeah. So whoever catches on, whatever, they could come on. But, dude, it's the freaking, it's that little snowball that you get rolling, you know? But also, we'll be able, what I want to do is do a QR code and be able to share it in Austin. Okay. So whoever wants to, they can, hey, what's this about? They could tune in and then, do some networking with those guys. But also, going forward, what I want to do is actually kind of promote, like, people that have shows going on. Yeah. So if you got something going on, and then also, like, anybody who might be watching the podcast, you got any ideas, if you got, any suggestions, send it to us. If you know anybody who could be good at the podcast, who would be a good guest, send it to us. Also, we want to make it to where later on we can have questions and stuff. People that want to participate or whatever, they could do that.
One day we got to bring the rest of the guys in here too.
Yeah,
have just a giant. I don't know, how does that work?
The thing is,
a lot of people with podcasts that kind of.
Well, yeah, because if you have like 3 people, it can work. It can work.
It's better one-on-one. Right?
Well, yeah, it's just like right now. What I'm saying, just going back and forth. Yeah, I mean, but definitely. There is a lot of people doing, and I just feel like if we can use this as a platform to promote, you got a show coming up, let people know you got an album that came out. What is it about? What are you talking about? Yeah. And then dude, me as a fan of music, dude, I love listening to, you know, what motivates you. You know, it's like, okay, I like the song, but, you know, that kind of stuff. And so then it's like being able to put that out there for the people, and then also people that we know, you know, that are doing stuff, man. You know, heck yeah, man. Bring them on. Let's talk. You know, what do you got going on? What motivates you? Why?
Yeah.
You know, that stuff interests me because there's something different about people that are like motivated, driven.
Yeah.
That, you know,
it's contagious, you know.
Yeah, man. You know, and then it's inspiring too, dude. You know, dude. You know, you, man. All these different projects you got going on. Dude, that you know, that album that you came up with. You know, the Riptide Phantoms and everything.
Yeah.
Just like, wow, man. Dude, I heard that. I was just like, wow, man. Like, you know, and you know, fuck if people, you know, whatever, like, some people might not get it or don't have, like, they listen to it, they don't understand.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe it's not for them, you know?
Yeah.
But for me, like, I heard it and I was, dude, that moved me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
You're
man.
going, yeah, man. And that's what art and music, and that's kind of what I want to dig in with this podcast.
Yeah.
Is like, you know, that, you know, like the motivation that makes you say, words are not enough. I need notes. I need, you know.
And I'm looking forward to writing with you and all the rest of the new guys, the new wave of Skatastrophic stuff, you know. We haven't even been writing yet. It's just all learning. You got everybody learning the sets, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Mauricio actually is. But
Yeah.
I know once everybody know, you know, we have our sets down. I'm looking forward to what this new little combination of guys will put together musically for brand new stuff too, you know.
Yeah.
That's another fun part about it. You know, you have your archives, but you have the excitement of making new stuff.
Right. Yeah, and with this lineup, that's kind of what it's been. That all of this music is kind of like the skeleton to kind of build up something, and then from there, okay, where do we go now?
Yeah.
And it's always like that. You know, it was funny because they were asking me, okay, you know, we got this show in Austin, and then it's like, okay, and I've been really focusing on it, big man, because it's just like, it's, you know, I'm really excited about this. And then it's like, well, what's next? And I was like, what's the podcast? You know, we got this going on. But then it's always like, okay, well, then what's next? Okay, well, we got the show. And you just keep going. You know what I mean? You keep setting goals and you keep freaking kicking ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just like, you know, it doesn't stop. Yeah. And you keep getting better, and, you know, and that's a progression. Like right now, we just talked about 15 years of all of that. You know, this band, that band, this song, that song, this video. You know, just kicking us, and then here we are, and then boom, there we go.
Yeah, man, and still having fun, you know.
That's it, man. That's what it matters. Awesome, Billy.
All right, man.
Great freaking. Nice having you. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll take some pictures. We'll post all that stuff up, man.
Let's do it.
We're gonna have
it's gonna be fun.
Time in Austin.
It's gonna be fun. Watch, we're gonna have a good old time. This is the start. Get some good rest, and then.
Oh yeah, that's
para
it.
mañana.
That's it.
Party time.
Yep. That's it.
All right,
Bayou Beast Podcast. Goodbye.
That's awesome, dude.